Morning, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Brewer, and I have not slept at all. It's the middle of the night. It's still dark outside, and I cannot stop thinking about math. How about you, boys and girls? Have you ever had a night you didn't sleep, and you woke up, and all you could think was math? Me too. That's where I am right now, boys and girls. And do you want to know what's been on my mind this whole time? Is this number line right here. See how it's empty? Boys and girls, I am trying to figure out a number to put on my number line that would go between 0 and 1. Do you know anything that would go between 0 and 1? Me neither. I keep trying to think. I can't sleep. Boys and girls, you gotta help me. Don't worry. I only have a half a cup of coffee here. In here. And don't worry, boys and girls. I only drank half a pot of coffee so far, I think. Okay? See how much coffee did I drink? You're right, I only drank 1/2, right? So we know 1/2 has to be what? Does it look pretty equal? Right? Remember yesterday we kept talking about my kids called me in the middle of work trying to teach you boys and girls. And they said that they couldn't figure out how to divide their brownies. Right. They were fighting over who got more and who got less. Remember that? You're exactly right. So what do we have to do? We had to make it what? You're right. They had to make it equal, right? Boys and girls, I am so tired. I even forgot to tell you. Welcome to room 9. Right? This is the region's largest classroom. I'm Mrs. Brewer, and this is my coffee. And I'm a 3rd grade teacher at Gordon Bush Elementary School in the East St. Louis School District. Don't worry, East St. Louis. I'm drinking my coffee before I teach your kids too, okay? So, room 9, I really need your help because I'm going to have to go into my classroom and teach my kids virtually today about a number between 0 and 1, and I don't know. I only got a half a night of sleep. Just 1/2. What's that you say? What do I have behind me? I was just getting stuff ready for my class. What? Oh, it's just a fraction. What's a fraction, you say? Well, let's look at our poster here. Fractions are part of a whole. What do you think that can mean? Part of a whole. I'm thinking about this myself, boys and girls. Part of a whole. All right, well, yesterday my kids called with brownies. Remember we had the brownies? So I'm going to draw on my board a whole can of brownies. Okay, so can we agree that kind of looks like a can of brownies, right? Kind of rectangle. Now I know I don't always draw the straightest with dry erase markers, but they're really hard to do, right? So this is part of a whole here, right? A whole, one whole. So what did we say yesterday I needed to do with my brownies or my kids' brownies to make it equal? You're right. You said we needed to divide them equally in half. And we talked about a rectangle and how to divide it in half, right? We said there's about 2 ways we could do this, didn't we? You're right. So we could either draw a line down the middle, from top to bottom, or a line from side to side, right? Okay. So we said if my son got this amount of brownies, it would be what? Right, 1/2, right? You know 1/2. All right, my daughter got this piece. What would she get? You're right. She also would get 1/2. So when we put that 1/2 with the 1/2 together, we got what? One whole. And all I did is try to trace it. Sorry, boys and girls, half a night's sleep. This is the best you can do until that whole pot of coffee is gone. Okay? All right. So we said 1/2. Is that a part of a whole? Yeah, I think it might be part of a whole, wouldn't it? Because when I put them together, this is a whole. This would be one part, right? This would be another part, wouldn't it? So you're exactly right. 1/2 would be part of a whole. Okay? See what else it tells us about fractions. Oh, it also says here it has to be what? Equal parts, right? So when we look here, were my parts equal? You're exactly right. They were equal parts, right? To make it fair, it had to be equal. Remember, boys and girls, if you were trying to share with your brother or sister or cousins or mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, somebody who may bake for you, and if they cut the brownies here and said, this is what you get, this is what I get, would you be very happy? Probably not, right? You'd be like, no, those brownies just came out of the oven. They're gooey, warm. I want at least half, right? At least divide it up equally. Then you would be much happier, I'm sure, if they divided it here right in the middle. And you got 1/2 and they got the other half. You got one part of the whole, they would get another part of the whole, right, boys and girls? You're right, right? Let's wake up a little bit more here. All right, starting to wake up a little more. All right, good boys and girls. All right, let's keep going. All right, so we just said fractions were part of a whole and equal parts. So now if we look at the top, I have two terms up here. And yesterday we were talking about 1/2. So my question is, how do I write 1/2? I know in words, I can write it like this, right? That would be 1/2. But in math, we show things with words? No. Sometimes we do, right? But we show everything in math usually with what? Using, you're right, using numbers, right? So if you look behind me, boys and girls, this is how you write a fraction. Here is the fraction 3/4 is shown, okay? We're not going to work with 3/4 just yet. We're trying to figure out how to write 1/2, all right? So if you look at my fraction back here, you can see it's divided into two parts, right? Now there's two parts, once again, in a fraction, okay? So you could say it's divided in half, right? Two parts, one part, right, the dotted line right in the middle, doesn't it, of the fraction, okay? So what is the top number of the fraction called? Don't tell me 3. Look at the words. What's the top number called over here, boys and girls? All right, now it's time to get your robot voice on, okay? Have you ever seen Terminator? I was showing Mrs. Brewer's age. But if you ask your mom and dad, someone, they've probably seen Terminator before, okay? So kind of like denominator. The top number in a fraction is called the numerator. The numerator is how we say it. The numerator tells us how many pieces. Okay? How many pieces are we talking about? Right? And I'll show you what that means here in just a second. Okay? Just know the numerator is on top. And the bottom number, everybody got those voices on again? The bottom number is called the denominator. Everybody say denominator, right? It's called the denominator, okay? So an easy way to remember this, I always have a song. I always give you something easy to remember it, okay? And this is for my teaching partner, Mrs. Stewart. I need your fingers up in the air. Ready? To do this one with me. You ready? All right, wake up. All right? The numerator goes in the air. Let me hear you. The numerator goes in the air. Ready? The denominator goes down there. The denominator goes down there. Ready? The numerator goes in the air. The denominator goes down there. Ready? The numerator goes in the air. Oh, denominator goes down there. Ready? The numerator goes. Yep, the denominator. Right, where's the go? So if you ever get stuck, where's the numerator go? Which one's the denominator? I don't know. Terminating my brain, right? I feel like a Terminator. I can't think. Okay, it is the numerator is in the air, and the denominator. What letter does this denominator start with? You're right. It starts with D. So I always tell my students too, if the song is too much for you, but come on now. Are my songs ever too much? No. Okay. So if you ever get stuck, just remember this denominator, this down. Okay. Denominator goes down. Okay. So now let's look at 1/2. Oh, and I forgot to tell you. The denominator stands for how many pieces in all of a whole. Okay? So let's keep thinking about 1/2. And I'm just going to shade in 1/2 of my rectangles, piano brownies, whatever you want to think of it as right now. Okay? So I'm going to shade it in. Maybe not all the way, but it looks pretty good for what it is. Okay? So how much of my rectangle have I now shaded? You're exactly right. I have shaded 1/2 of my rectangle. Okay. I'm still trying to figure out how to write it. Okay. So the numerator, I have said, tells you how many pieces we're asking for, how many pieces we're talking about, boys and girls. So if I ask how much of the brownies are yours, or how much of my rectangle is shaded, what would you say? We know it's 1/2, right? Okay. So how many pieces of my whole are shaded? Oh, this one piece is shaded, right? So if that's the numerator, and I'm going to draw this line here, and this line that you see on my fractions right here, that is called a fraction bar. Okay? And the fraction bar just divides the numerator from the denominator. Okay? Just divides in between. Right? So if the numerator, where would it go? Do you think it goes up top, reach up high? If you think it goes down below, reach low. You're right. My numerator goes in the air, right? So it's going to go right here on top. So the numerator, once again, I said, talks about how many pieces are we asking about? Or are they asking for, or are you asking for if these were brownies? Okay? How many pieces, we'll just say right now, are shaded? You're right. There's only one piece shaded. So I am going to put that one in the air. Okay? Because I know my numerator goes in the air, right? So am I done? Oh, boys and girls, I'm halfway done. Get it? Halfway done. Really? More coffee? I need to get a half of coffee. What you're telling me this morning? Other half of coffee? Okay. All right. So I figured out how to write my numerator. I see it there in the air, right? So what am I missing? I'm half done. What am I missing? Oh, that denominator, right? And where does my denominator go? You're right. It's going to go down here, or one, right? The numerator goes in the air. The denominator goes down there, right? Denominator just down, okay? So looking at this, the denominator tells me how many pieces in all of my whole, okay? So looking at this whole, how many pieces did we divide it into? We divided it into 1, 2 pieces, right? 1, 2. So what do you think my denominator would be? Oh, do you think my denominator would be 2? Give me a thumbs up if you agree with it. You are exactly right, boys and girls. This is how we would write 1/2 in math, okay? So what did I use to write 1/2? Oh, up here I use words for 1/2. What did I use here? Oh, I used numbers, didn't I? Right. Not just any number. I wrote what's this number up top called again? A numerator. And I wrote the denominator. You're exactly right. So I use my numerator and denominators and numbers to help me write this fraction. What does the 1 tell me again? You're right. The 1 tells me how much we're asking for, right? Here I ask how many pieces are shaded, right? And how many pieces are shaded? Just 1, right? Okay. And the other tells me what? The denominator tells me what? How many pieces in all, right? How many pieces this whole is divided into. So boys and girls, we might have had other pieces, but we are just talking about this whole right here. And this whole right here is divided into 1, 2 pieces, right? 2 pieces. Okay? So our fraction here would be 1/2, written in numbers. 1/2 written in numbers, huh? So that must mean that 1/2 is a what? Huh? So 1/2 must be a number. You're exactly right, boys and girls. Fractions are numbers. They're just smaller than 1 whole, okay? They are smaller than 1 whole. They are parts of a whole. And not just any part, they're what type of parts? This equal is so important to make sure you know they are equal parts of a whole, okay? We need to know they are equal parts of a whole. If you had a shape, this one would have been triangle, maybe I made a pie, all right? Or pizza. You ever had pizza in the middle of the night? I have to see if we have some in the fridge here. I need a midnight snack and my coffee, boys and girls. All right. So here is my pizza I made. Right? What? Looks good. Did you want some? Okay. Well, let me go ahead and divide it for you. Okay. Let me go ahead and get a knife here, pizza cutter. Let me go ahead and cut this for you. Okay. I'm going to give you this, and this is all for me. Do you agree? Why not? It's not equal, is it? All right, put it back together. Let me try again. What about now? This is yours, this is mine. Raising. Why is it okay now? Oh, because it's equal. We are both getting the same amount. So anytime you think about fractions, think about, well, would I be happy with any of those pieces? And not just because it's bigger. Any of them, because they would be equal, right? All right. So here, I'm going to shade in again what you're going to get, boys and girls. All right. So now I want to write the fraction for this. How would I write the fraction for this? First, I need to find my what? My numerator, right? Where do my numerators go? You're right. Numerators go in the air, right? What do they tell us? I do care. What are they telling us? Right? Half asleep, boys and girls. Half awake now. How about that? Oh, they tell me how many pieces we're talking about, right? So boys and girls, how many pieces are we talking about here? I'm just talking about what you're going to get. Oh, you're just going to get one piece, right? Okay. I'm going to draw my, remember what that line is called again? Called a fraction bar. This divides the numerator and the denominator. Okay. All right. So you said you were getting one piece. And you said the numerator goes in the air, and that tells us how many pieces we're talking about, right? So here I'm going to put my 1 up top. Okay. So now, boys and girls, what goes on the bottom? Oh, the denominator, right? And what does the denominator tell us? You are exactly right. How many pieces in all? How many pieces do we have in all? You're right, 2. 1 piece, 2 pieces. Okay? So my denominator would be 2 again, right? What fraction is this? This is the amount, the fraction that you were getting, boys and girls. How do we say it? You're right. We say it 1/2. We write it like this, 1/2. 1 piece out of 2 is what you're getting, right, boys and girls? Okay, so I still don't know if I'm any closer to my problem I had, boys and girls. I'm still coming back to this number line. I need a number to put on here bigger than 0, but smaller than 1 whole. What do you think I could put on here, boys and girls? What? Behind me? Oh, fraction. Why didn't I think of that earlier? Fractions, we just said, are part of a whole, right? And we said, what do we use to write them? We use numbers, right? So fractions are numbers. Huh. So is 1/2 smaller than 1 whole? The whole circle is 1 whole. Is 1/2 smaller than that? Yeah. This is smaller than all of this, right? Is it greater than 0 though? Is it bigger than this circle up here that you can't even see because there's not one? Because it's 0? Right, boys and girls. Fractions are greater than 0 and smaller than 1 whole. So if I go back to my number line, my problem I've had that I haven't slept all night with, right? Sorry. So look at my number line. What could I put on here now? What fraction do we know? We now know 1/2. Where do you think I would put 1/2 on my number line? Where did I cut my pizza? Where did I cut my brownie? 1/2 comes where? Right in the middle. All right, it is 1/2 between 0 and 1. So here is my fraction 1/2. Boys and girls, you have helped me solve my problem. Thank you so much for telling me about fractions. I didn't think about that, and the answer was right behind me all night long. Boys and girls, I don't know what I would have done without you today. Thank you so much. Just like I don't know what I'm going to do without my coffee today. All right? Boys and girls, you have saved my sleep. So maybe I can still get a half a night's sleep before I got to go to work tomorrow. All right? Boys and girls, it's been a pleasure again. Thanks for helping me. I will see you back here tomorrow. Halfway between. Just kidding. We're done. All right. Bye, boys and girls. Have a good day.
Teaching in Room 9 is made possible with support of Bank of America, Dana Brown Charitable Trust, Emerson, and viewers like you.